Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome back to our final virtual leadership live session. And I want to thank you for all of your wonderful participation, everything that you're doing, all that you have done so far. I know that it is a crazy world out there right now with this pandemic situation. I want to encourage all of you, again, all of you, to take care of yourselves and your families. Do what you feel is necessary during this time. And remember to help those out as well. If you've got any vulnerable individuals, people over the age of 60 or living with any comorbid conditions like diabetes, respiratory disease, heart disease, try to volunteer and take care of them, get their groceries, and do whatever you can to protect them during this time, as those individuals are usually the ones that will suffer from the most severe disease. And we want to do our best to do our thing and protect those who need the most protection in our society today. I again want to thank you for your time, for being a part of this program. We're going to jump in today because we've got a lot to do in a very short period of time. And I want to start by talking about the assignment for this week. Many of you, I think right now we have about 60 individuals, 60 to 70 individuals who have actually received a certificate and passed the behavioral cue aspect. If you're out there right now and you have not received credit for your behavioral cue and you've submitted it, chances are it's because you have not followed the directions. Because this is a leadership program, we are going to expect a high level of standard from you, which means we expect you to follow the instructions of the assignment. And just to clarify again, not only do we have the recorded session that you can watch, but we also have a weekly video that you can watch. And you also have a team leader you can talk to. We need you to follow the directions. A catchphrase on top, followed by the problem statement, then followed by the behavioral request, along with your name and your logo. If you do not follow the directions of this assignment, you will not get credit for this assignment. And it's that simple. So make sure that you identify a catchphrase that's going to get people's attention. It's going to be a good picture that gets people's attention as well, followed by a problem statement and then a behavioral request. Remember, the total behavioral cue should not take somebody very long to read. And if they're confused or they have to take time to really truly understand what you're saying, then you need to simplify the behavioral cue. Many of those that have been rejected have not had all three components. Some have told people to stop behaviors. That's not what a behavioral cue is. We want people to start behavior, okay? So again, our standard is high here. We want to make sure that you follow directions of the assignment and complete the assignment to the best of your ability, okay? All right, so with that being said, don't worry, we're not closing anything. Just do your best to get those behavioral cues in. Talk to your team leaders if you have any questions. This week, we have a lot to do over the next 2 weeks. You have two surveys. One is the weekly survey, but also the impact survey, because this is the final module. We are also going to ask you to upload a leadership presentation video. That's what we're going to do for this week's assignment. Now, what does that leadership video look like? What is that assignment? It is found under the additional references tab in the learning management system, your training platform. And basically what we're looking for is a 3-minute video, no more than 3 minutes. And that 3-minute video is going to start with 60 seconds, a professional introduction, answering 3 questions, and the perfect close. I'm going to give you an example of that right now. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. When times get tough, leaders have an opportunity, not an opportunity to sit back and tell people what to do, but an opportunity to actually do the right thing, an opportunity to lead by example, an opportunity to not ask people to do things that they themselves would not do. A leader takes full responsibility for failure and actually gives responsibility for success to others. That's what a leader does. That is what a leader is. My name is Sean Kaufman. I'm CEO and founding partner of Safer Behaviors. And today I want to answer 3 questions for you. My favorite module teaching all of you, my most favorite module I liked the personality aspect. I also liked the emergency response, the fact that we actually got to do leadership during an emergency pandemic. This program has helped me lead by example. It's made me think of things that I do, and it's helped me as a leader deliver something to you, but also to be the example that I wish to see in other leaders. And if I had to describe this program to other people, I would truly say I think it's fairly comprehensive. I've seen a lot of growth in those that we've led, and I know that we've given you enough information to become a great leader in biorisk management and infectious disease. Now, you've learned a lot. You truly have. So I'm going to ask you now to take what you've learned and go forward teaching others and leading by example. Again, I want to appreciate you for attending this program and all the hard work that you've done, the time and the sacrifice away from your family, and managing yourself through this pandemic situation. Again, I thank you, and I will now take any questions that you may have specific to this program. That's the perfect close. That's all I'm looking for within 3 minutes, no more than 3 minutes. You can do this. Watch your filler words, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that is today, but you need to upload that 3 minutes, no more than 3 minutes. Now, that being said, leads us to our first poll, our first quiz question. Here we go. Our first quiz question. Let's see if you are awake and you guys heard me. Here we go. We're launching now. First quiz question. Total presentation time for the final assignment is between 3 and 5 minutes. 3 and 5 minutes. All right, I'm looking for 80%. That's what I'm looking for. Good, we're at about 70% now. Come on, just a couple more votes. There we go. Excellent, ladies and gentlemen, 92%. 92% got that right. It is not 3 to 5 minutes. It is 3 minutes max, 3 minutes max. And by far, I think the best way to do this is to video it in WhatsApp or on your phone and just upload it to the learning platform that way. Don't make it complicated, just nice and simple. 3-minute video focusing on the things that we've talked about, okay? Any questions about that assignment before we go forward? I'm going to go through the public speaking skills for leaders. Any questions? There's 10 quick points that I want to go through. Any questions about the assignment, about the behavioral cue? Your chat box is open. You can ask questions in there if you wish. I have my glasses on so that I can actually read the questions, but any questions you have, any questions? I'm looking to see. I'm not seeing anything in the chat box. So what I think we'll do is we'll go into public speaking skills for leaders. I do have a question. Can we still upload behavioral cues? Absolutely, please upload them. And if you're having difficulty uploading them, please send them to my email. I'll take them that way as well, okay? But again, please do me a favor. Make sure that before you upload your behavioral cue, you're following the directions that have been given to you in really 3 different ways. Not only in the live session last week and in the weekly video, but even right now here, okay? Is there any media requirement for the video? No, the only media requirement is you. Just you in front of the camera following the specific steps that are in the public speaking assignment, okay? And those specific steps are right here. Again, on the slide right now, you need the first 60 seconds, a professional introduction, followed by answering the 3 questions and the perfect close. And again, I want you to elaborate on those questions because we love hearing your overall thoughts about the program as well, okay? All right, how could we know that either behavioral cue have been accepted or rejected? If you have not received your certificate, then it has not been accepted. If you've received your certificate of completion, then it's been rejected, okay? Zia says, Sean, what are the main points we follow when we speak to the audience? We're going to talk about that right now. And again, if you look at the presentation or the leadership assignment, the skills presentation assignment, that is something that that is clearly listed there in the PDF form under the additional references. Dr. Nadeem, dear Sean, how Introverts resolve issues for speaking as they are reluctant to speak. Nadeem, we're going to talk about that right now, so don't worry about that. Introverts do have to do public speaking as well, and so please don't give up simply because you are an introvert. Sean, I am not able to see any of the behavioral cues on my dashboard. Dr. Anita, that typically means either it has not been submitted or I have already graded those. Remember, I'm trying my best to assist. We discussed this during the facilitators meeting. If I see anything, then I will grade them in trying to assist you as well. Sadia, is there any limitation of language, or can we speak any language that we feel comfortable with? Sadia, speak whatever language you feel comfortable with. That is okay by me. Okay. Don't worry, Anita, you can look at your team members, and if your team members have achieved certificates, then you know that everything's been submitted. Okay. Don't worry, Anita, we could talk more about this during the facilitators meeting next week as well. I'm going to go ahead and move on because we've got a very big talk ahead of us, and I want you to be able to use this information as leaders in public speaking. Okay. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, I want you as public speakers to remember the concept called I love you. Now, if you've been in the virtual master training program or the BioPrism program, then you already are familiar with this concept. But I want you to realize that public speaking, as difficult as a lot of people want it to be or say it is, it really truly isn't if you really cover or follow the 3 steps here called the I love you concept. The I love you concept is, number 1, no matter what books you read about public speaking, eye contact is absolutely critical. Eye contact is very important. Do not look over people's heads. Do not look around them. Look at them in their eyes. Watch people. That's one of the hardest things about presenting virtually to all of you is I can't see you. I can't see your eyes. I can't see your body language. I don't know what you're saying or what you're thinking or what you're feeling with the words that I'm expressing to you. Good public speaking starts with good eye contact, okay? Now, the second thing that you must do as a public speaker is you must find love for the content that you're delivering. If you're not passionate about the content you're delivering, then no one who's listening is going to be passionate about it. Think about it. I mean, if you're bored delivering it, people who receive it will be bored receiving it. You've got to find love in what it is that you're doing. You've got to have passion for the content that you're going to deliver. And so I'm going to challenge you to find passion in almost anything. I remember when I was learning to do public speaking, somebody asked me, give me an animal that you don't like. And I said, okay, I don't like cats. Okay, good. Now you have to do a 60-minute presentation on cats. That was the exercise. And it was very difficult for me to do, but in the end, I found that there's a lot about cats that I love. Their independence, their unpredictability. There were certain things that I learned that if I'm going to be a public speaker, I'm going to have to find the things that I love the most about what it is I'm speaking about. And then last but not least, where a lot of people lose their ways, you don't have to be smarter. You don't have to be more serious or funnier. You don't have to be that. You just get to be you. Public speaking is not acting. And if it is, then it's horrible because most people in the audience will know when you're being fake. All you have to do is get up in front of a classroom or an audience and just be you. Have a conversation. That's all you have to do. So remember the I love you concept. That's where it starts. Eye contact with everyone in the audience. Try to make eye contact. Remember to love what it is you're speaking about. And last but not least, always do your best to be you, okay? All right. Second, number 2, the first 60 seconds. Now, traditionally, when we talk about public speaking, it's always a good idea traditionally to start with, hello, my name is Sean Kopp. Well, nowadays that puts people to sleep. It puts people to sleep because today we have to compete with the cell phone. The cell phone is no longer just a communication device. It has all sorts of things that connect people around the world, meaning a cell phone is more than just talking. It's actually how people get along in the world. You're competing against that as a public speaker. And if you're going to start the first 60 seconds of your presentation going, hello, my name is, they probably already know your name. They probably already know where you're from. So you don't start your presentation with that boring introduction. You start your presentation with something that entertains, shocks, or educates your audience. Some type of interesting fact. And you literally start right away, right into that. The very first words you say get people's attention. I love telling stories of what infectious disease or what I've witnessed with infectious disease. If I'm telling you about public speaking, I would start by something. Let me just, let's see here. Let's do a 60 seconds on public speaking. Are you ready? Here we go. You have one shot, one, to make an impression. One shot. And if you fail on making that impression, it may cost you. What does it cost you? It costs you the opportunity to teach people what it is that you have that you can share to not only make the world a better place, but to make that individual a better person. One shot. And how you choose to deliver that moment, how you choose to deliver that can make the difference between whether your message is received or it isn't. Think about it. You're up in front of people for a reason. How are you going to spend that one shot? Are you going to waste it? Or are you going to knock it out of the park? My name is Sean Kaufman. I'm CEO and founding partner of Safer Behaviors. Let's do safety together. Listen, that is in essence what that 60 seconds is about. Instead of looking at the phone, they're going to listen to you because you start off strong. Use that first 60 seconds to get people's attention, to really, truly grab them and say, I want you to listen to what I have to say because that's what I'm going to teach. Okay? So again, what will your first 60 seconds be? Make sure that you start strong, very strong, because today the traditional start is one that puts people to sleep and they pull out their phones and they start looking at their phones rather than looking and listening to you. All right, now comes our next poll. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Next poll. This is our next quiz question. The goal of the first 60 seconds is to entertain, shock, or educate the audience. The goal of the first 60 seconds is to entertain, shock, or educate the audience. Very good, very good. We're at about 64%. Keep it going. Another 20%. Okay, we're doing good. All right, about 70% of you got this correct. 70% got this correct. Here we go. The answer is true. It is absolutely true. Again, that's what that first 60 seconds. Remember, why are we doing that? Why are we focusing on the first 60 seconds? Because we have a lot to compete against today, things that weren't there in the past. Usually people would show up and they'd want to listen to the speaker, and now the speaker is really just something that's going to compete with the cell phone, the emails, the text messages, whatever it is people are choosing to do, the cell phone's going to compete. Okay, let's talk about the professional introduction. The professional introduction is very, very simple, at least you think it is. It's a greeting, assalamu alaikum. It's good morning, good evening. My name is Sean Kaufman. I am positioned the CEO at Safer Behaviors. You think it's very simple, but I want you to practice it over and over and over again. That's one of the best things that I love about some of the people we've trained for BioPrism. Whenever they introduce themselves, I know that they've been trained with us because it's a very simple. Hello, my name is Dr. Saima Salim. I am the Boo at Kipchi University. I mean, the reality is that when we see people that have been trained professionally, their professional introduction is smooth. It's a greeting. My name is, I am the at this place. And that is a professional introduction. It's very quick, it's very succinct, and it's very well practiced. And that is something that I want each and every one of you to do in this presentation. This leadership presentation that you're going to do, you're going to start with your 60 seconds. And at the end of that 60 seconds, I should be able to hear very clearly, my name is, I am at this institution. And the neat part is, even if you're speaking Urdu or Pishto or Punjab, I still can see that. I can still see it, that transformation. So the point I'm trying to get at is that, again, make sure your professional introduction is clean. It doesn't have any filler words. It's well practiced, and it's a very simple and straightforward methodology, okay? Again, very, very important that you practice this professional introduction, all right? Number 4, your speaking signature. Now, this is the main part of a public speaker's presentation. This is huge. What is your speaking signature? Now, when you look at my signature, I have a signature. I personally have a signature, but this is your public speaking signature. Now, what does a signature consist of? First, it consists of emphasis. How do you put emphasis on particular words? And then it produces this level of intensity. What is your intensity? What is your pace? What is your tone? What is your overall body language? This makes up your public speaking signature, something that is only for you, something that you have. Now, what does that look like? Well, let's talk about emphasis. Emphasis is something like, please try that again, or please try that again. Please try that again. Please try that again. How you put your emphasis on what it is that you say is going to be your overall signature. Now, it's hard for many people who are just beginning in public speaking to actually say, how am I going to remember and use this? Well, trust me, you can. This is where it separates the new public speakers from more the experienced to the expert public. These are things you have to practice. If you want to emphasize certain things, like you've got to do that again, or please do that again. This is where you, as a public speaker, get to practice where you draw your emphasis. The next step you've got to think about is your intensity. Are you going to be angry? Please do that again. Are you going to be happy? Please do that again. Please do that again. It's all again about your overall intensity as a speaker. What are you going to do? What is your choice? So your speaking signature first starts off with how you emphasize your words and the intensity that you use your words with. Now, in addition to that, we're gonna ask another quiz question. So I want to just go back and make sure you understand that. Emphasis and intensity are absolutely critical. You as a public speaker get to choose that. If you want to be apathetic or you want to demonstrate pleasure or interest, your intensity is going to matter in how you say things. And you can practice these things. Please try that again. Please try that again. Please try that again. Please try that again. Okay, so you get to decide how you want to deliver both with emphasis and intensity. Okay, so let's do quiz question number 3. Again, quiz question number 3. Here we go. Making sure that you guys are still awake out there. Here we go. I know that many people so far, we've done very well. Gotten 70% very quick. Here we go. Launching it now. Question: anger is an example of a speaker's emphasis. Anger is an example of a speaker's emphasis. Now, while you guys are answering this question, Dr. Amjad asked the greeting at the start of the 60-second or at the end. Always 60 seconds first and then, well, no, when you're talking about your greeting, you can always start off, Dr. Amjad, by saying, Assalamu alaikum, or you can just lead right in. That's up to you. But your greeting should always be part of your professional organization or a professional presentation, your introduction, okay? Anger is an example of a speaker's emphasis. And right now we've got 76. I'm going to close. Oh my goodness gracious. Only 40% got that right, ladies and gentlemen. Anger is intensity. Anger is intensity, not on emphasis. Anger is intensity, okay? Not emphasis, all right? So remember that. I'm going to show you the results here. Let me share these with you because, again, this is going to cause confusion. When we look at emphasis, emphasis is where you put your word. So when you say emphasis, it's where you put please, 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 please. That's emphasis. But anger is please or happy, please. Okay, that's intensity. So a public speaker has two things. It's where they put their emphasis on a particular word and then the intensity of that emphasis, okay? Again, very good question. You will have access to this recording if you need any clarification when you take the quiz in the future. Now, the next part of a speaker's signature is pace. This is absolutely critical. If you look at pace, it's very cool because if you do something slow, if I want to say, please, try that again. Slow is going to give the audience a sense of this is important. This could be expressing some type of sadness or confusion, and it may be a new idea. Whereas if I say something fast, I'll say, please try that again. It's excitement, it's passion, it's emotion. It's also this sense of urgency. It gives the people in the audience a sense of urgency. So as a public speaker, if I really want to draw a point home, I may say, please try that again. But if I'm excited about something, I may say, please try that again. Please try that again. Your pace is a part of your signature as a public speaker as well. Now, again, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I've been doing public speaking now for close to 30 years. And it is something that is extremely, very much so. It's not entertainment. I've had people out there that say, well, you're just a great entertainer. No, I'm not a great entertainer. I'm a good public speaker because I focus on my tone, my emphasis, my pace. That's what makes people good at public speaking. They're not entertainers. They're public speakers. It's a skill. And you can actually practice this. And that's one of the most beautiful things that I've had a chance to witness in Pakistan and serving Pakistan is watching people come and watching them listen and apply these skills and then be able to deliver beautifully. Just that you get to see them grow and see them present themselves in a way that they've wanted to present themselves. These are skills that you can practice, but you have to actually truly focus on these. And I'm going to give you an exercise at the end of this point here that's going to allow for you to focus on all of these. Because the last part of your speaking signature is your tone. This is the quality, the way of sounding, the modulation, the strength of your voice, and the intonation, the loudness of your voice. How you want to speak, or do you want to go lower in the way that you speak? Or do you want to go higher in the way that you speak, or lower in the way that you speak, or higher or lower, higher or lower? This is tone. Now, the best way for you to practice your speaking signature is through the alphabet. Believe it or not, a simple construct. A good public speaker can make the alphabet sound interesting. Watch the emphasis and the intensity and the pace and the tone. Are you ready? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, J, K, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Listen, when you practice your public speaking, don't worry about your words. Start with the alphabet. And it's funny because if I'm in person with you, as many can attest to on this call, because many of them have gone through in-person training with me, if I could get you to do this alphabet in exactly the way that I did and then allow for you to talk, you begin to use your tone and pace. Your speaking signature begins to come out. And people will see that. See, I have you do your introduction, your 60 seconds, then I have you do the alphabet, and then I have you do your 60 seconds again, and all of a sudden you begin to see the person's speaking signature. Practice everything with this alphabet. Practice your emphasis, A. Practice your intensity, A. Practice your pace and your tone, A, B, C. Okay, practice all of that. The alphabet is a very simple tool that you can use as a public speaker to truly practice all of the things that make up your speaking signature. Okay, and last but not least, I don't want to forget this, your body language is critical. Please don't stand up in front of an audience and cross your arms or put your hands in your pockets. Show them that you're interested in them by using your hands. Walk around, take a look at the audience. Your body language matters. Do you want to be there or do you not want to be there? Now, this is absolutely critical, very critical. Your speaking signature matters a great deal. This is our third, I think, or is it our third or our fourth public speaking quiz question? Here we go. Here we go. Fourth question right now. The alphabet exercise. The alphabet exercise allows for you to develop your speaking signature. Dr. Simon, you're so nice. Dr. Simon, as you guys are filling this out, she goes, my goodness, every memory of Master Trainer Workshop coming to my eyes. What a beautiful and wonderful time. I agree, Dr. Simon. Agree 100%. Goodness gracious, guys, you guys are well awake. We're close to 80. We have 80%. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. And 90%, 92% of you got this correct. The answer is true. The answer is true. Oh, Kendall saying the same thing. You guys are very special. The answer is true. The alphabet truly does allow for you as a public speaker to work on your speaking signature. That's absolutely critical. So it's a good thing to practice and to use. And it's so simple too. And it really does have a big impact. Okay. Now, number 5, the power of silence. Listen, many of us, when we do public speaking, get this urgency to, we have to fill dead space. Let me tell you the most powerful tool that you have as a public speaker. Your secret weapon will always be silence. See, many of you stopped what you were doing if you were doing something and looked up like you were missing something, or maybe there was an internet problem. But one of the greatest gifts and greatest powers you have when standing up in front of a group of people to deliver a presentation is that pause. It's that silence. It will actually pull people in. And it's extremely powerful how you use silence, very powerful. So don't use filler words, that's what people will do. They'll use all these filler words to really fill that silence, when in reality, the silence is truly one of the most powerful techniques you have as a public speaker. When you want to get people's attention, just stop speaking. When you want to draw a point home, a very important point home, stop speaking. Silence is truly powerful. And if you can get comfortable with silence in front of a large group of people, it's one of the best gifts that you as a public speaker will ever be able to give to other people. I mean, it literally will draw people in. Silence is very powerful. So shh. Practice getting comfortable with silence when you're speaking to other people, okay? Number 6, the perfect close. Look, we start strong with the 60 seconds and we end strong with the perfect close. Now, what is the perfect close? The perfect close is you get to choose as a speaker what you're going to do. You can either call people to action. So when you get to the end of your presentation, say, okay, listen, we have done this virtual leadership program. It is time now for you to do. It's not time for you to learn anymore. I am calling you to action. I want you to take what you've learned and I want you to actually go out and use it now to become the leader you've always wanted to be. Or I can do a quick summary points. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about leadership. We've talked about the personalities of leadership. We've talked about intrinsic leadership. We've talked about how to lead during emergencies. We've even given you public speaking skills that leaders should follow. That's our program. That's what we've done. I give you a quick summary point, or I can close with a story. That leadership, well, it's kind of like the day that the son said to the father, "What is leadership, Dad? What is it?" And the dad said, "Well, you know what, son? Go get me 3 things. Get me an egg, get me a potato, and get me some coffee grinds." And the son looks at the dad and says, "Dad, what does this have to do with leadership?" He says, "Go get it and I'll show you." And so the son comes back with the things. I have it, Dad. Here's what we got. He says, well, son, now I want you to boil 3 pots of water. Bring them to a boil and come and get me when you have that. The son says, Dad, again, what does this have to do with leadership? And the dad says, just do it, son, and I'll show you. And so the son gets it boiled and he puts everything in the water and he says to the son, well, what have you learned from this? And the son says, Dad, I haven't learned anything. He says, well, let me tell you what leadership is, son. See, some leaders go into adversity and challenges in life like this egg, soft. And when they come out of the boiling water, it's hard. They're hard now. Their hearts are hard. They're inflexible. He says, and some people go in hard like this potato, and when they come out of adversity as leaders, they're soft and mushy. He says, but you know what a good leader does, son? You see this coffee here? A good leader goes into the hot boiling water, which is the adversity, and it changes adversity. It becomes a part of it. It lives in it. It leads through it. It guides. It changes everything. That's what leadership does, son. That is a story. And then thank people for their time and take questions. It's always a good way to end. You either call people to action, give a quick summary of points, or close with a story and tell them the moral of the story. That is the perfect close. Again, you want to start strong and you want to finish strong. That's absolutely critical with any good public speaking engagement. Okay? Number 7, don't know. Okay, listen, ladies and gentlemen, for some strange reason, when we become public speakers, we put this expectation on ourselves that, well, we better know everything there is to know. Do not put that expectation on yourself, because today with Google, all the audience together, the audience will be a lot smarter and know a lot more than you as a speaker. They have Google at their fingertips. They themselves, as a combined group, will know more than you do, no matter where you are. So the reality is that when you do public speaking, never put the expectation on yourself to know everything. In fact, if you don't know something, say, I don't know. And you can also always say, does anybody in the audience know? That's one of my most favorite things to do. Somebody will ask a question. I'll say, gosh, that's a tough question. Anybody in the audience have anything they want to say about that? And somebody may step up and go, yes, I wrote a book on that. Let me tell you what it is. And and you've got the question answered. But never, ever put the expectation on yourself to not know. And in fact, if I'm teaching a public speaking class, I'm going to make sure I ask a question where somebody says, I don't know. Because one of the things that gets people in trouble, especially public speakers, is when they start talking about things that they really don't know anything about. Don't do that. It can attack and kill your credibility. So don't be embarrassed to say, I don't know. That's a great question. I'll make sure that if you give me your contact information, I'll go and search and find it for you. And trust me, before the end of the presentation, usually somebody will search on Google and they'll say, hey, according to this is what it is. So again, today's world, do not expect to know everything. It's okay as a public speaker to say, I don't know. It actually builds your credibility. It doesn't decrease it, okay? It doesn't decrease it. Number 8, who is this for? If you are doing public speaking and it's about making you look good, it's about giving you prestige and power, it's about promotions, it's about ego. Listen, one of the biggest things that I really want to pass along to all those that I teach public speaking to, and all those that have succeeded, I mean, unbelievable success in Pakistan. To many people, they're being featured on the press and on the media. They're doing exceptional jobs. The one thing I want to teach them is humility, to be humble, to remember that they have been positioned in this place by Allah. It's not random. They have been put in front of a group of people at a given point in time to send a message, not for the betterment of themselves, but for the betterment of those they're serving. If you make public speaking about you and how good you look and how smart you look and how, if you make it about you, then you will be nervous. You will fear public speaking because it's all about how you look. The emphasis is on you. But if you get up there and you don't care how you look, if you get up there and you say, I'm going to be me and I'm going to do it in a kind and loving way and I'm going to serve people, it's kind of like that concept of think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Does it inspire people? Is it needed? Is it kind? That's think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Does it inspire people? Is it needed? Is it kind? If you're going to do public speaking and you care more about who you are and how you look, you're going to be nervous. But if you think of this as a chance, Allah has given you a chance to say something and make a difference in those that you're serving. Don't waste that opportunity focusing on yourself. Don't waste that opportunity. When you do this leadership presentation at the end of this project, I want you to think about Dr. Ziba. I want you to think about everyone at PEPSA. I want you to think about me. I want you to think that this video is going to be the greatest gift of appreciation you can give us. You're going to get up in front of a camera and you're going to tell us what you think about this program. I don't want you to think about yourself. I want you to think about the gift you're giving to us, the ones that will receive this message. Because if you do public speaking and you're worried about how good you look, then you will be worried and you will be nervous and you're focusing on the wrong thing. You've been given a gift. How often? I mean, this is a special gift. I have 47 people right now and over 100 later, but 47 people right now from around the world watching this presentation. I have an hour of your time. If I wasted it, if I wasted the opportunity and I chose not to make you better, but make myself look better, what a wasted opportunity for 47 people around the world. But right now, I don't have that. Right now, I have an opportunity to make a difference in you, to inspire you to be a better speaker. What a wonderful gift that is. How often do you get to go up on the street and say, excuse me, to a stranger, can you sit down and listen to me talk for an hour? That doesn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. So every chance you get to do public speaking, remember who you're serving. I always like to believe I'm serving Allah. Always, every single talk. And if I do that, then I stay on track. That's the key. Don't waste the opportunity of serving others when you do public speaking. Your audience. There are going to be several people in your audience, and I want you to realize something as a public speaker. Number one, not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to like your approach. They're not going to like what you said. Listen, if you are out there again to try and make everyone happy, you're going to fail. There will be some people that don't like the way you look, the way you sound, the way you see things. There are going to be lots of complainers. Some may say you're arrogant. Some may say that you're awesome. Some will say they love you. Some will say they hate you. Listen, you will never, ever be able to make everyone happy. You can try, but if you try, keep this in mind. You're trying for you. The reality is I want you to continue to try for the one you're serving. When you have an audience, there's going to be three main levels of learners. One is going to be the novice. The novice is going to sit there with their eyes wide open and take everything you have to teach. And they're going to do their best to do everything you've taught them to do. The second is going to be the practitioner. This is somebody who's doing what you're doing, has tasted mild success, but they're going to argue with everything you teach them. Why? Because they don't have the experience to know that there's multiple ways to be successful, and they just believe their one way is the way to be successful. And then last but not least is the expert. The expert has enough experience to know that there are multiple ways to be successful and that this process that you're talking about works for you. Good job, well done. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to say it works for you, but that's not what I choose to do. There are three types of learners: the novice, the practitioner, and the expert. You better anticipate that. And again, if you're trying to make everyone happy And you're going to go out there and you're going to be all hurt when someone says that you're horrible. When someone criticizes you or what you wear or how you look, if you're going to allow those things to change and hurt your heart, then please don't public speak. Because again, I always like to look at the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and I like to look at all the prophets who were hated, and it didn't change their message. It didn't change the energy in which they went forward and carried the blessing that they were given, the message that they were given. And I consider all of this very true. You were not put up in front of a group of people by accident. Me talking to you is not by accident. It's a gift. And if I worry all the time about whether you like the gift or not, whether you're going to like me or not, or whether you're going to like what I say or not, then I am forgetting the gift that has been given to me, the opportunity to serve you. Keep that in mind. You will not, as a public speaker, make everybody happy. There will be people that will argue with you, taunt you, say horrible things about you. That's okay. You move forward. You dust your sandals off. You focus on the ones that listen, the ones that actually want to make a difference and change, and you move forward. Remember that. Don't let those individuals that are mean get you down. Remember, the expert is the hardest to change. The hardest to change. They will listen to you. They won't argue with you. They'll just sit back and go, that works for you, but I'm not going to do that because I found a way that works for me. Experts have already been successful. That's why they're experts. The practitioner is the hardest to train. And what I mean by that is that practitioners can change, but during training, they'll argue with everything. Everything. They'll argue with your processes. They'll argue with everything that you're choosing to do. Because again, an expert has the experience to know that you can be successful in multiple ways. A practitioner does not. They believe one way is the only way. And so when you train, if it's different than what they've learned, they will argue with you about everything. Now that leads us to our final quiz question. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our final quiz question, because we're coming to the end of our presentation. Here we go. I'm launching it now. The final quiz. Experts are the hardest to train, while practitioners are the hardest to change. Very, very good. I have to tell you, I had a chance to look at some comments. You guys keep voting. And Dr. Hafsa, thank you. The public speaking exercise, the alphabet, is the most wonderful and powerful bit of training. Has changed a life for many of us. And again, Dr. Rabina, every time listening to you, I appreciate that, Dr. Rabina. You guys make my heart very happy. I appreciate your feedback. Okay, so let's go ahead and close here. We're at about 80%, and 79% of you got this correct. It is false. Remember, very important for us to remember, experts are not hard to train. They're really not. They sit back and listen to you, and they don't really argue much. They just nod their head and cross their arms. They'll go, It doesn't mean they're going to change. Experts are the hardest to change. Practitioners are the hardest to train, okay? Again, generally speaking. Last but not least, proper preparation. Now, if you've gone through the BioPrism training program, a lot of times this master trainer programs, and I remember especially with the earlier generations, they would get ready to do their presentation, and then I would say to them, uh-oh, no LCD, you have no PowerPoint, no computer, nothing, do your presentation, go. And they would look at you like, good speakers, great speakers, prepare for the worst. If you need your slides to do your talk, you're not prepared. You're not prepared. If you need a computer to do your talk, you're not prepared. What you need to do is you need to know how much time you have, what the goal of your training program is, or your presentation, and be able to deliver a presentation if you had to, away from your slides and your computer. You prepare for the worst always. That's the difference between an elite speaker and a beginner who will rely on everything except for themselves. Remember, public speaking is not about being replaced by PowerPoint. PowerPoint enhances a speaker. It doesn't replace the speaker. It enhances the speaker. So remember that you are the main draw. You are the main focus of the presentation. And if you build your presentation so that everybody's looking at the slides and not you, well, then you're weakening yourself as a speaker. Remember that. Prepare for the worst. A true public speaker is going to listen to the audience. What do I mean by that? It's going to be looking, not only listening to the words of the audience, but it's going to be watching the body language, the nodding or the shaking of the heads. We're going to be paying attention to everything. We're listening with our eyes. Again, something I wish I could do remotely, but I can't. We're going to evaluate ourselves. We're going to let evaluations tell us how we're doing. We're not going to say, oh yeah, I knocked that one out of the park. We're going to watch what people say. We're going to adapt to situations and be extremely flexible. We're not going to ever let anybody see us sweat. Many of you out there have known we've had training programs where we thought we were going to do it in one place and now we're doing it in another. We thought we had this time and now we've only got this time. Never let people see you sweat as a speaker. Smile and move on. Make it happen. Don't make it about anything other than you're going to make it happen because you care so much about the people you're serving. Demonstrate a commitment to those that you're serving. Show them, lead by example that you are there to serve and to help them. And then last but not least, you speak. Again, you have your own signature, your own presentation signature. You speak and demonstrate a commitment to a good sound talk by speaking the way an expert presenter would, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our last live session. I am recording this session and you will be able to watch this again and share this with anybody you think would be interested in learning public speaking from a leader. Now keep in mind, we do virtual master training programs in public speaking that last weeks, Dr. Ziba and IHFIC. We have a 5-day program that we offer in BioPrism. But look, again, this month or for the next 2 weeks, don't wait until the last minute to get your work done. If you're having problems, reach out to me or your team leader. If you don't hear anything within 24 hours, again, reach out to me again. Evaluations will be reviewed always on Friday, letting us know how you are doing and what you're feeling about the program. Certificates will always be found under the achievement aspects. And again, we're hoping that you can complete every module so that you get a final certificate when you complete all modules in the leadership program. Remember, leaders don't lead from behind, they get out and about. So we're going to encourage you to continue to lead, to be out in front with those around you. And again, leaders get dented. You know, if you look at a car, people, you know, the back of the car is usually the cleanest with no dents. The front of the car has all the dents, the scratches. Well, that's the way a leader looks after they get done leading. They have dents and scratches as well because they lead. They're out in front and they may not always be right and they may get beat up a little bit, but the fact is that's the job of a leader, to absorb that and to, again, lead by example, to set the example for others that they want to see in others as they go forward, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we have about 7 minutes for questions. We have a clinical containment program that's going to be taking place here in about 7 minutes, led by Dr. Anita, which is going to be phenomenal. I think it's going to be a good presentation. But I will take questions for about 5 more minutes, and then we will end the program. I'm going to end the recording right now. For people who are watching the recording, I want to say thank you for being here and for watching this. We appreciate your time and your commitment to this program. If you do have any questions, please reach out to me or the team leaders. We're happy to serve and assist you. In the meantime, Allah Hafiz to all of you. Blessings to you and your family. Stay safe. And if, again, you need anything, please let me know.